Well, here we are. We're under 2 weeks to go now until Christmas, and I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little bit stressed knowing that the deadline is looming, that impending deadline, along with unrealistic expectations, throw in some financial pressures, throw in excessive commitments. They can all add up pretty quick if you let it snowball. So how do we beat the holiday humdrum and let a little hope and happiness in for the holidays? Well, let's spend a few minutes talking about that because it seems to be the theme of everybody's conversations now, the holidays coming up. So Dr. Simon Sherry back in studio with us at the red table. And Dr. Sherry, of course, a clinical psychologist, so an expert in this field. And holiday stress. Here we go again, huh?
It's not always necessarily the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, exactly. We were mentioning just before we came up live that Christmas and the holidays come with its own music. It comes with its own movies. It's like an unavoidable train that is coming down the track in a couple weeks' time, right?
If you find yourself bothered by Christmas, it's not the sort of holiday you can escape.
Yeah.
April 24th is Secretary Day.
Okay.
If you want, you can avoid Secretary Day.
Yeah.
But good luck avoiding Christmas.
Yeah. So a couple of different themes I want to touch on. I'll get into the shopping and the commercialization part in a second, but I think family is a big one because you were saying, you know, the more family time you have, the less time spending in malls, the better. But how much family time is too much family time when you get around for the holidays?
Well, you're absolutely correct to underline the importance of family. If you look at data we've collected from people about their experience of Christmas, in terms of what they enjoy, top of list is family.
Yeah.
In terms of what they're stressed by, top of list is family.
The double-edged sword.
That's it. So family seems quite pivotal in all of this.
Okay, so how would you, let's say there's going to be a holiday confrontation, what advice would you give people to kind of avoid that or handle it with care during the holidays when it comes up?
That's a great question because oftentimes in the work I do as a clinical psychologist, I see people struggling with family conflict around the holidays. I think top of list is to be realistic. If your uncle has sounded and talked a lot like Donald Trump over the last 15 Christmas dinners, that pattern is likely to repeat itself. So stop comparing your Christmas to an idealized Christmas, knowing that some of the characters within your Christmas may be challenging. I think you have to be realistic and accept that your Christmas may fall short of this ideal that's pushed upon us almost endlessly. I'd also encourage people to keep their blood alcohol level reasonably low.
Okay.
Drinking to intoxication is probably unhelpful. And another really key thing in all of this would be to just assume responsibility for yourself.
Okay.
You can't necessarily control those around you, but try and be an excellent participant in Christmas.
All right.
Act as if you're having a great time. Really try and fit in and make the holidays something to enjoy because you can assume responsibility for yourself.
Andrea mentioned a good point she wanted me to ask too. Holiday stress on the kids. I mean, we are in 2018. A lot of families are split families now, Dr. Sherry, so the child is going from one family house having 2 Christmases in one day most times. How much stress does that put on the children around the holidays?
I think there can be a lot of stress placed on all family members, including children, over the holidays.
Yeah.
On the surface of things, kids will joke about the benefits of having 2 Christmases if they're from that sort of a organization within their house. At the same time, it just creates more overload, more stimuli for kids. And I think that's embedded in a wider conversation about how aggressively we're pushing the commercial aspects of Christmas.
Yeah, you mentioned the commercialization. We're showing some, we have plenty of it, videos of shopping around the holidays. I went shopping with one of my cousins about 10 years ago. He was married at the time, I wasn't. And he was stressed out at the mall. And he said, did you know what, Paul? Shopping for your wife around the holidays is more stressful than being a fighter pilot in the Air Force. And I had no idea what he was talking about then, but now I'm kind of agreeing with my cousin.
Well, I've certainly felt that pressure myself, so I identify with what your friend said. I think we really have to take a few steps back and look at the over-commercialization of Christmas. There's too much emphasis being placed on giving and receiving gifts. And I think instead we'd be better to place emphasis on experiences and family.
Okay.
And if you look at data that speak to who enjoys Christmas, it's those people who don't purchase things, but they focus on experiences, and it's those people who emphasize engaging with family over the holidays.
It's really set up, though, when you think about online shopping and things. Like if I went and did a Google search this morning of a stationary bike, for the last 2 weeks, every video I watch, there's going to be a stationary bike ad that's going to play and try and convince me to buy that $1,000 stationary bike.
If you take a look at our icon for Christmas, that's Santa Claus.
Yeah.
And I'm the father of a 9-year-old boy.
Okay.
And so I've done my share of Santa reading over the last few years. Take a look at Santa. He's stressed, he's pressured, he's hassled, he's a binge eater, he's overweight.
Okay.
He's really stressed out over the holidays.
Right.
And beyond that, he's so stressed out, he starts going into everyone's home somewhat illegally. So poor Santa's having a very difficult time over
Right.
Christmas in terms of his adjustment. And I think a lot of us are a bit too much like Santa, maybe
Right.
putting too much pressure on ourselves around the holiday season and getting unduly stressed out.
Well, lucky for us, lucky for Santa, it only comes around once a year. And kids, don't worry, Santa's going to be there for you. If you're watching the show this morning, everything is okay in Santa's world. Dr. Simon Sherry, thanks very much for joining us this morning.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Some
having me.
advice and some tips to beat that holiday stress.